This is the true origin of Goofy. He was never meant to be a dog. His face was taken from a child locked away in an institution. In the early 1900s, the Nevada State Children's Home maintained a ward for so-called incurable children, those whose jaws never fully closed. One boy was restrained to an iron bed. He laughed constantly, high-pitched, broken, almost inhuman. He laughed until his mouth split open and his voice turned raw and bloody. Visitors wrote that the sound carried through the halls at night. Nurses began calling him the Goof when he wasn't around. At 13, his medical records disappeared, but the photographs did not. Images of a stretched body, drooping ears shaped from wrapped bandages, a smile frozen too wide. 20 years later, those photographs were quietly shown to animators. They were told it was reference material. They copied the grin line by line, frame by frame. Sound engineers were instructed to recreate the laugh, matching its warped pitch, pushing wax needles further each time the recording strained. In 1932, Goofy appeared on screen. Same smile, same laugh. Families who once had children in that institution said they recognized the sound immediately because it wasn't invented. It was taken. That laugh you still hear, high, cracked, unchanged for a century, is not a cartoon voice. It's a boy who was never allowed to stop laughing. And every rerun, every playback, repeats his final sound over and over forever.
Here's the weirdest stuff about the moon. Apollo 11, when the booster took off on the moon, they were like, we think it might be hollow. It seems like actually the outer layer of the moon is more dense than lower layers, which pattern matches only to an excavation site. That's obviously known Earth. The lower you go, it's more dense, right? And so Apollo 12, they intentionally crashed the booster of the lunar vehicle onto the moon. They put seismometers there, and they said that it rang like a bell. This is all fact. You could look all this stuff.
And then there's the size of the moon directly corresponding when it's in orbit with the sun, completely blocks out the sun perfectly.
It's 1/400th the size of the sun, and it's 400 times closer to the Earth than the sun. You never see the dark side, which is very weird.
It is really weird. You have one of the biggest secrets on Earth.
Yes. Today we are sure that the pyramids are not tombs.
Those immense structures are just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
And underneath it, you have these immense structures. How far do they go down?
They go down 600 meters.
And then they reach a chamber.
Yes.
How huge?
80 meters times 80 meters and times 80 meters.
And that's uniform underneath all of the pyramids?
Yes.
It's the same dimensions?
Yes.
Wow. What was this civilization?
I tell you, Joe, I would like to go there and see what there is in person. It's now time.
Things removed from the Bible. The Book of Enoch. Once read by early Christians, it reveals details about fallen angels and the Watchers. The Book of Jasher, mentioned in Joshua 10:13, but not included in the final canon. The Book of Jubilees, a detailed account of creation and early humanity, excluded for being too mystical. The Shepherd of Hermas,
Whoa! Massive ship. Beautiful. How beautiful's that?
Ahí están otra vez. Estamos. ¿No? Mire, para que se ubiquen en la ciudad, mire dónde están. Y mire la ciudad abajo. ¿Mm? Padre Celestial, ve a la nave arriba. Martín. Ay, no se me apague, por favor. La nave está allá arriba. La nave está arriba. ¿No? Se me está... Míralos, pero es que no los puedo enfocar.
Ya los vi.
No los puedo enfocar. Míramela. Míramela.
Mucha belleza.
Pero no la puedo enfocar, ayúdame.
Espera,
Mírala,
espera.
ya la cogí.
Ay,
Dios.
Ay, qué hermosura, ve.
Ay.
Uy, pero qué cosa tan grande.
Dios mío. Santo. ¿Qué es esta hermosura?
Pues se apaga.
Sí,
Chao,
se me
Lola.
perdió. No. Se va a ir. Se está yendo.
Sí, se está yendo. Wow, se fue.
No.
Pero años luz. Mírala dónde va.
No la veo.
Por eso,
Enfocada.
pero va, y va. Para. No. Y le...
Giant triangular UFO formation was seen flying over Manchester, and this is a segment from the UAP files on YouTube. Check this out, and I'll see you in a second.
I couldn't believe how long it was going and how long we were following it for. Now it did break formation, as you could see in the footage, but at the time I thought it must be sort of a flat triangle that's just like, you know, orienting on its sort of axis. But it was lights, and the thing about it was, this does have infrared, but you have to turn it on manually, and it wasn't on at the time. It was just low light performance through the sensor inside, so it wouldn't have illuminated lights if they weren't already there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was amazing. And the rest of the footage, I basically just ran into the missus screaming at her, saying I can't believe what I just seen. So yeah. On hindsight, I could have actually run through the apartment to the bigger window at the back in the kitchen and got more, because it was sailing across and I've got a full view of the sky. But at the time, I was just fascinated with what I've got, and I just tried to get it on the laptop as quick as possible. Yeah. But,
awesome, yeah. Well, it's really cool footage.
Yeah.
What was your thought then? Because quite often people send me footage, and there'll be more context visually.
Now, this footage sparked my brain, and I remembered a piece of footage that was shot over America probably at the beginning of the year of a similar thing, man, right? Triangular formation kind of moving around, and then this one moves off, morphs, and comes back together, and just, it's crazy, mate. So this isn't the first time this weird object has been seen. Look at the state of this one, bruv, right? And not many people remember this one. And I was bashing on about this for the longest time. Crazy stuff. Pretty much like what we've seen in Manchester there. And the one in Manchester was a triangular formation, and it was hovering and maneuvering. It wasn't like kind of moving together and stuff. It was almost like it was like a triangle flipping and turning like that, going through the sky. Much like what we see here, right? Now, is this in relation to the sphere network? Look at this. Splits off, different direction, goes back. Not much else to say on this, mate. Wild stuff. Go check out UAP Files on YouTube because it's an amazing podcast. And just listen to the story, mate. It's incredible.
I know it was you, Fredo.
What if everything we knew about our past is only scratching the surface? What if the story of human history is far older, far deeper, and far stranger than we've ever been told before? Let's begin with the Sumerians, arguably the first known advanced civilization, dating back around 6,000 years in ancient Mesopotamia. They left behind stone tablets, complex math, astronomical knowledge, and depictions of curious figures seemingly descending from the skies. But here's the thing, they didn't describe themselves as the first. They told stories of beings who came before them, beings who shaped mankind and brought knowledge from above.
In an ancient temple in Turkey, they found a giant green stone, polished, perfect. Locals call it the wish stone, but no one knows what it was for. Is this just a rock or something else?
Or crazy one. And this is a test for you guys too.
Okay.
It's like an advanced Mandela effect.
What is it?
So have you seen a guy in a picture that shows up with an upside down face?
What are you talking about here?
Yeah, so there's an urban legend. So it's kind of like an advanced Mandela effect where in pictures of tragedy,
yeah,
when you look back in the pictures, there's always a guy somewhere in the background with an upside down face.
What?
Like an upside down face. And this is shown.
What do you mean upside
down? This is shown through history, fam. So
no way.
Trust me. So this whole thing started with an artist who created this concept, and it's fun. So it's a guy with an upside down face with a big grin. So his face is turned around. And every time he's shown in pictures, it's always in tragedy because the whole background story, he loves feeding off people's bad energy and traumas.
What the fuck?
So I'm gonna show you a few pictures, and
I never see. I would know this.
I know exactly.
Is it like popular pictures?
Popular pictures, and the ones that you really wouldn't see it. So I'll show you the obvious ones. This is very old. In a car crash, who do you see? Right?
Okay. Wait, what?
Next one, a car crash. This is the exact picture photographed.
No way, this is real. No way, this is real.
Look.
This is a troll.
Look. So look, in a New Year's party, what do you see in the background? A guy with an upside down face.
What happened at that party?
The same party, that night, a guy passed away.
Shit.
At that party. Last one. Boom. You see trail tracks, right?
Yeah.
Look around, fam.
That's Photoshop.
Look around, fam.
No way.
Look around, fam. At the back, you see his head. And this is one of the craziest train track accidents that happened in history, fam. Come on.
Wait, that guy's in your recent picture, fam.
No.
Look. No. Look, wait. If you go to your Instagram right now.
Don't say that.
Yo, listen.
What?
The Roman Empire left millions of texts documenting their lives. We have found over 100 of these bronze objects across Europe. They are complex, hollow, precisely cast, yet there is zero mention of them in any Roman writing. No instruction manual, no name, no known function. Advanced technology that history forgot. Welcome to Chrono Archives.
Yeah. Did you see this? No. The Starbucks barista cup. What? Oh, this is the new Labubu, fam. Oh, you don't know. So Starbucks just came out with like it's like, you know, like the honey bear, like you know the bear container that you put honey in. Yeah. So it's like that, except it's a bear with a Starbucks like hat on it and a straw that goes out like this. Okay. So this is my theory. This is a whole social experiment that Starbucks did just to expose like this whole recession, because all we can look forward to is this $30 luxury cup. Fam, just today, mans were elbowing people in line for it. Wow. They were arguing. They were literally sending threats to Starbucks because the workers got first dibs and they were lining up for 5 hours. Sneakers, bro. Fam, sneakers just for this bare cup. Yeah. You can get this cup on Amazon without the Starbucks branding on Amazon for $15. It is a recession. But why does everyone want it? Because it's limited. It looks like luxury. Oh, I have it. This is a collection. Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is just a big like social experiment.
Why does nobody talk about the fact that 200 million years before an asteroid landed right here and killed all the dinosaurs, something much worse happened? The deadliest extinction in Earth's history isn't the one that killed the dinosaurs. No, it's something literally called the Great Dying. It was so bad that life itself was almost erased from Earth. It started here in what is modern Siberia, where a giant plume of magma from inside Earth started pushing up towards the surface, and it created so much pressure that the surface literally cracked. Huge fissures. So then, instead of erupting through volcanoes, lava seeped through thousands of cracks in the surface, covering an area the size of Europe. Actually, bigger than Europe. It was very bad. These eruptions released an unimaginable amount of carbon dioxide and methane and sulfur, and it didn't stop. It lasted for 2 million years. This caused the oceans to turn hot and acidic. Forests collapsed and acid rain fell and poisoned fresh water. 81% of marine life died. 70% of terrestrial vertebrates died. It was the greatest known mass extinction of insects. Coral reefs completely disappeared for millions and millions of years. Coral came back, but most species did not. Entire branches of the family tree were wiped from existence. This area is called the Siberian Traps. This is what it looked like and where it was back then. But we can still see it. It's right there. The Siberian Traps are covered in about 7 million square kilometers of basaltic rock. That's cooled lava, but it is thankfully no longer active.
This is why the Appalachian Mountains are dangerous, and locals don't go deep into them. There was a man named Roy, a moonshiner, hiding illegal stills in the mountains, but every time they were found. So Roy wanted a place no one could reach. An old native man warned him there was a spot his people never went to, a forbidden place. Bad things lived there, but no one would ever find you. Roy went anyway. 2 days hiking, thick brush, no sunlight all the way. Something followed them. Heavy, moving, never seen. When they reached the clearing, they saw huge holes in the ground, 3-4 feet wide. Then a deer stepped out, shaking, frozen. It stopped near one hole, and in 1 second, something exploded from the ground and dragged it under. Gone. Roy walked closer. 4 thick shapes moved in the dirt like pipe cleaners. Then they twitched. Spider legs. That night they camped all night, scratching, hissing. By morning, their tents were wrapped in webs. Roy believed one thing. The tents saved them because the spiders thought they were already caught. Would you have run or stayed till morning?
So this is a good conspiracy theory. I was convinced Linda Moulton Howe had passed away, but according to the internet, she's still active in her field and there's no record of her death, so that would make her about 84 just now. And she's not in the public eye anymore, so I do wonder if she's been the beneficiary of some extraterrestrial anti-aging technology, and she actually looks young just now, and that's why she's hiding. Linda Babes is probably out and about in the clubs, living her best life, looking 21 again.
Look at this and don't stop watching her. This footage was captured during a live basketball game when the broadcast camera began slowly scanning the crowd. Everything looks normal at first. Fans cheering, people laughing. A completely ordinary moment, and then the camera stops on this woman. She doesn't react like anyone else around her. While everyone is moving, clapping, talking, she stays perfectly still. Her eyes are wide open, unblinking, fixed on something no one else seems to see. Her stare feels empty, almost disconnected, as if she's not fully present. Now look at her hands. They're tense, rigid, held in an unnatural position, like her body is frozen mid-movement. What makes this unsettling is how much she stands out, yet no one around her acknowledges her. She appears to be completely alone. No friends. No conversation. No reaction from the people sitting right next to her. Later, several attendees claimed they never noticed a woman like this anywhere near them during the game, but the camera did. The broadcast footage clearly shows her for several seconds, and then, just as suddenly, the shot cuts away. She's never shown again. No explanation. No follow-up. Almost as if she was only visible through the lens. So the question is, who was she really? Follow for more disturbing stories.
There's this curious theory about these giant trees that used to exist before the flood of Noah. Supposedly, they were these massive plants with tree trunks the size of mountains, and this is what just blows my mind. See, we already know that trees produce oxygen, but my question is, what if these trees were like a lot bigger? Because if there was a bunch of these trees everywhere, then of course the amount of oxygen in the air would increase. Only something very strange happens to life under these conditions, because it turns out that the whole world would become completely unrecognizable. Everything would be bigger, taller, and stronger. Bugs would grow to ridiculous sizes. Animals would be massive. You could run for much longer without even breaking a sweat, but you could also live longer. So in this theory, right before God sends the flood, these giant trees were simply cut down, which reduced the amount of oxygen on the earth, ultimately shortening the lifespans of future generations.
Have you heard that the real entrance to hell can be hidden behind this inconspicuous lid in Russia? This is the deepest hole on the planet. Its depth reaches 12,262 meters. It is even deeper than the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean, with a maximum depth of 10,994 meters. In 1984, Soviet scientists began drilling the Earth at a secret facility known as the Kola Super Deep Borehole, but the most terrifying thing happened when the drill reached a depth of 12,262 meters. It was at this depth that this frightening sound was recorded. And many are sure that geologists have literally reached hell. According to the official version, drilling was stopped due to equipment failure at a depth of 12 kilometers. However, it is unofficially said that the scientists were so scared by what they heard that they decided to stop working. Interestingly, a similar sound was recently recorded in another place, which is also considered the gateway to the underworld. It's about the town of Centralia in the USA, which has been engulfed by an underground fire since 1962. Many believe that a passage to a real hell has also opened under his earth.
You're not supposed to know this, because the trees in Redwood National Park break every rule of biology. First shocker, These giants aren't tall, they're skyscraper level. Some redwoods stretch over 380 feet, taller than the Statue of Liberty, and scientists still can't explain how they grow this massive without collapsing under their own weight. Now the crazy part, their bark is fireproof, insect-proof, rot-proof, and can heal itself after damage. It's like the trees were designed as indestructible life forms built to outlive disasters. But here's where it gets wild. Some redwoods are over 2,000 years old. That means these trees were alive before Rome fell, before the Mayans, before half of recorded human history. Even stranger, redwoods communicate. Their root systems link underground, sharing nutrients and electrical signals across entire groves, like a forest-sized neural network. And the biggest twist, their ecosystems create their own weather. Redwoods pull moisture from fog and release it as rain, literally making water out of air. So ask yourself, are these just trees, or Earth's ancient guardians built to survive whatever wiped out the species before us?
You know the girl that was on the airplane, and then she's like, yeah, that guy's not real. That girl, right?
Yeah.
So she's back on social media.
Okay.
After she went missing.
Oh, and she looked different?
And she looked different. She looks like a whole new person.
Yeah, I seen that, yeah.
And she started posting, and she's trying to become a social media, I guess, personality.
Yeah.
From being the girl that saw something in the plane. Now, she started posting. Before continuing, I wanted to warn you guys that more and more people have reported that their phones were being spied on by a blue radio app. This can appear on your phone at any time. To check that this does not happen, click on this icon, then on more. If you see it, delete it immediately. And one of the pictures or videos she posted, it started going viral on Reddit because they looked back on her last sightings and she was missing. They had no idea where she went. If you look at the pictures of her face before and after, so they took those images